Let's talk about the MVP debates, something that has really heated up over this decade specifically, as far as like the big men being back and just the domination of certain players. And this year, it's kind of no different. So let me give you some context. So obviously, this all started really in 2019 when Giannis came onto the scene. Giannis really just elevated his game, became one of the best players in the world, and is arguably a top 20, 30 player of all time already. And he won 2019s, he won 2020s. That one was a little controversial. LeBron had a really good case as well. Then 2021, 2022, Jokic came around, and Jokic really became the best player in the world. And then came 2023. 2023 is really where the MVP debate started to really take a nosedive, where the narrative switched. Kendrick Perkins said some things on national television, and a lot of just gross media agendas came about. They gave it to Embiid, and then last year, Nikola Jokic won his third MVP in 4 years. This year, it's really a two-man race at this point between Nikola Jokic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Nikola Jokic is having probably his best season of his career. He's having the best box plus minus year in NBA history, beating himself from 2 years ago and 3 years ago and last year. He's averaging a triple-double. He's averaging 31, I think 11 and 10.
Wow. Is he going to get it?
Well, let me get to that. So he's averaging 31, 11, and 10. He made a full court shot the other day in a game where he dropped 35 points, 22 or 27 rebounds, and 17 assists, and is really carrying a Denver Nuggets team that really isn't that good, if we're being honest, and has completely switched the narrative around Russell Westbrook completely.
I think it's the Russ effect.
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
Okay, go ahead.
But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, on the other hand, having a very good season, averaging like 30-something points. I think he's leading the league in 30-point games. The Thunder are on like one hell of a heater this season, having a really good season. So you could really make the argument for either or. The problem is the rhetoric that's being said is where I have the problem, because it's no longer about propping up your guy. It's about tearing down the other guy. And the things people are saying are quite frankly not acceptable. And these people that have these platforms and are blessed enough to make money doing this are really kind of ruining the integrity of the profession. Like Lou Williams the other day said, basically saying that, oh, Jokic is like, I think he said he was like passing the ball too much. He's like get his teammates involved. Like he basically said that he's too good for the award. Kendrick Perkins said that the MVP is beneath Nikola Jokic. That's the excuse.
Well, that's facts, though.
It really is. But that's the leaps and bounds we're going to now. There's people still saying...
There's truth to that, though. Like, we get it. You can win MVPs, win a championship, you know?
He did.
But keep doing it.
Kendrick Perkins said that Nikola Jokic is the best player, but not the most valuable player. So while I look for the Lou Williams quote, explain your thoughts on that.
Ridiculous statement. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, I remember you, Tyler, telling me last week, whenever Nikola Jokic plays, they're like, the Nuggets are like a plus something, a huge number. And whenever he's out, they're a minus something, a huge number.
So what does what does that mean?
That means that he's the most valuable.
Valuable.
Player. Yeah.
That's what the word means.
Yeah, that was my argument. That was my argument when Russ won the MVP award in what was it, 2017? Same argument I had. You know, they were a lower seed. Not as high as James Harden, but I'm saying he's the most valuable to his team in the whole league, and that's the same argument you're making right now.
Right.
I understand it, but I got to go with the Aura Man's narrative here. I have to.
Stop it.
I already chose him. I have to stick with it.
That's true, you do.
But. Big but. Okay.
Big but.
Pause. But if the Nuggets continue to win the way they're doing right now and they rise and rise and rise, it's going to be Jokic's award.
It should be. But at the end of the day, remember, the one time he didn't win it, they had the best record in the West.
Yeah.
And that was when the whole narrative changed, when Kendrick Perkins played the race card. And
so did Philly. Philly had the best record in the East, right?
No, they were third.
They were third.
And that was the thing. Everyone wanted to cling on to that one game they played against each other in Philadelphia. But when the game was in Denver, Embiid, of course, in Embiid fashion, ducked the matchup. So here's what Lou Williams said. He said, this is just one singular quote from what he said, are these numbers absolutely necessary for them to be competitive?
Yeah.
Are these
quite clearly, yeah.
Yes.
Like, is he for real?
I don't know if maybe he's not watching.
Are we for real? Like, seriously, like, we saw that Nikola Jokic wins 79% of his games when he has a triple-double. Yeah. He has the most wins in the NBA in the past 10 years. Yeah. No player has more wins in the past 10 years than Nikola Jokic.
Wow. That's actually very impressive.
Yeah. Like, he is winning.
Yeah. And when he's off the court, we see that they're losing.
Exactly.
So it's like key that he's there and putting up these numbers. I don't know what his argument is. Lou Williams, I'm talking about.
Here's the problem. We're in an era where, and this is where it contradicts itself, because we're in an era of guys like Gilbert Arenas, guys like Lou Williams, guys like Evan Turner. It's a xenophobic agenda. What does
that mean for the people?
Isn't xenophobia like essentially not liking people from outside of the United States or outside of your country?
Maybe.
Which, one, is complete horseshit because SGA is not even from the United States, but he's Canadian.
Well, he might be. I heard Canada might become a U.S. state.
Shut the hell up.
That's not.
You never know. You never know. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we're in an era of intense xenophobia from a lot of these former players. And except Kevin Garnett. I'll give Kevin Garnett credit because he said the other night, Jokic is Wilt. And Jokic was the first person to drop 35, 25, and 15 since Wilt Chamberlain. It's the second time it's ever happened.
Are you sure? Russell Westbrook did that literally.
35, 25, and 15 assists. Russ has never done that.
Russ has never done that?
Nope. Only Wilt Chamberlain and Nikola Jokic. Those are the only two times it's happened. They each did it once.
I have two things I want to say. So the players that are all talking about the MVP agenda, like Lou Will, Kendrick Perkins,
Evan Turner,
Stephen A. Smith.
These are all guys from a different era of basketball. Also, these guys, the NBA predominantly in their time and age was made up of guys that went through the process of going to college, one and done, or staying for longer, and also coming through high school. Okay. Yeah. No guys internationally were successful as well as Jokic has become, just from an international team standpoint. So I understand that could be part of their reasoning, is that this guy came from a non-college team, non-high school team in the U.S. He played in Serbia in the streets and became one of the best players of all time. That could be just hating on that. I think another part is the race card, because Jokic is not a black athlete. He is a white athlete, and all these guys talking about it are black athletes. But that should not be a problem.
Right.
Jokic is the best player regardless of skin color. He's the best player on the court, and there's nothing wrong. These guys all played with European players in their careers as well, and I probably supported them as well. They probably just not as good as Jokic, and I think that's probably what's taking their brain off a little bit.
I think it's like a jealousy aspect.
It's a jealousy aspect.
In the sense that, one, they're going to he's passing their legacy already, and two, like
these guys are nowhere near Jokic. I don't think it's jealousy.
I think they're upset because he has not followed the correct path in their mind to be an NBA player.
He's also not their idea, their general platonic ideal of a basketball player.
How so?
He's not not skinny. He's not he's muscular, but he has no definition. Yeah. And like the whole agenda of Jokic can't play defense, which is a total sham. Like, he can. It's just he's not your stereotypical jump high block shots.
Right.
That's just not what it is. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, it's just former players don't like newer generation players.
I think that's more so what it is.
That's what I think it is.
I don't think it's a xenophobia. I don't think it's a racism.
For Gilbert Arenas, it definitely is, because Gilbert Arenas has been talking shit about Europeans for a long time. The MVP is supposed to be a prestigious award, and it's a joke now. Like, it's turned into a complete joke of just who's got the best agenda. And that's just is what it is, to be honest with you.
You mean like the best story behind it?
No, the best agenda, what the people say on television.
The media.
If y'all remember when we did our season predictions, when we did our picks for the awards, I did not pick SGA for the reason that he was going to be the most valuable player. I picked SGA because I knew the agenda and the media narratives were going to give it to him in favor of Nikola Jokic.
You still think that?
Yes. That's why SGA is my pick to win MVP. And it is
I thought you switched it to Nikola for your midseason.
No, that was just because he was the best player throughout the first half of the season. Okay. But Nikola Jokic is the most valuable player in the NBA. He is the best player in the world. And the fact that I had to pick SGA to get it right for not even a basketball reason is a humongous problem.
Yeah.
And that's everything that's wrong with the MVP award.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same with all the awards, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The MVP is just the big one. That's why it's front and center on the page.
And Wemby's going to win DPOY probably the next 5 years in a row.
I wonder when voter fatigue will catch up to on that. But the good thing about SGA in comparison to Embiid, SGA doesn't really care about the award either. He wants
to win.
He just asked his thoughts on the MVP. He said, "I'm pretty good at basketball." Like,
yeah, listen,
I wouldn't be upset if SGA won, but I just find it sad that I didn't pick him for a basketball reason. That was the thing that kind of stuck out most in my mind regarding this.